The United States, long considered a beacon for international tourism, is facing a profound image crisis in 2025, one that appears increasingly self-inflicted. After a promising recovery in 2024 when international travel rebounded following pandemic-era restrictions, many expected 2025 to be a banner year for foreign visitors. Yet within a matter of weeks, forecasts have crumbled. The cause, according to a growing number of travelers, travel agencies, and tourism experts, is not natural disaster, economic downturn, or global instability, but the return of Donald Trump to the presidency and the ensuing wave of erratic policies, incendiary rhetoric, and diplomatic antagonism. Olga Ivanek, a Denver-based executive, watched as her family's summer plans evaporated following Trump's berating of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Her Swedish cousins, disturbed by what they perceived as disrespect toward a democratic leader under siege, canceled their trip to the US and chose Europe instead. Their reaction wasn't unique. It was emblematic of a wider trend. Around the world, Trump's actions are not just headlines. They're influencing personal decisions, family vacations, and long-planned holidays. What should have been private trips to admire national parks, explore cities, and enjoy American hospitality are being swapped for itineraries in countries that appear, at least for now, less hostile, less volatile, and more welcoming. Tourism is often seen as a cultural bridge and a source of soft power. Yet the atmosphere in the US is no longer being seen as neutral or even tolerant. It is being perceived as openly hostile, particularly toward foreigners. Reports of arbitrary arrests at borders, intense secondary screenings, and a general climate of suspicion have driven fear into prospective tourists. Canadian travel to the US is dropping sharply, not just due to Trump's renewed tariffs and bizarre rhetoric suggesting Canada should be annexed as the 51st state, but because of a deeper sense of humiliation and disrespect. The Flight Centre Travel Group Canada reports a 40% drop in leisure bookings to U.S. destinations, while airlines like Air Canada are cutting routes to places like Florida and Arizona due to plummeting demand. The numbers are sobering. In just the first 3 months of 2025, international arrivals to the U.S. have fallen 3.3% compared to the previous year. Travel from Mexico has been hit even harder, with a 23% drop in air arrivals. Tourism Economics, a respected travel forecasting firm, initially predicted growth of nearly 9% for the year. That forecast has been drastically revised, now predicting a 9.4% decline. These are not marginal shifts. They signal a collapse of confidence, a warning sign for a nation that once relied on its global appeal not just for revenue, but for reputation. There is now a clear dissonance between the federal government's optimistic projections and the grim reality on the ground. The National Travel and Tourism Office still anticipates growth based on past travel patterns, expecting 77.1 million foreign arrivals in 2025. But this projection, rooted in outdated assumptions, fails to capture how quickly reputational damage can alter global behavior. Tourism Economics, offering a more grounded analysis, says international visitor numbers may not return to pre-pandemic levels until 2029, a full decade after COVID-19. That gap is not just an economic loss, it's a long-term erosion of goodwill. The Trump slump, a term coined during his first presidency, is back. Only this time, it's potentially worse. In Europe, especially in Scandinavian countries, Trump's inflammatory gestures, like reviving the idea of buying Greenland, have sparked disgust. Tour operators working with German and Nordic clients are reporting booking drops of up to 50%. The damage isn't limited to rhetoric. When Elon Musk publicly supported a far-right party in Germany's federal election, even environmentally focused tours, such as carbon-neutral bus trips popular among Europeans, saw bookings dry up. Canadians are also choosing protest over tourism. Stories like that of Ian Urquhart from Alberta, who canceled a $500 vacation to Las Vegas to make a point, are becoming increasingly common. His daughter abandoned a trip to Sedona. His brother-in-law canceled his annual golf retreat. These are symbolic acts, but collectively, they represent real dollars lost and a widening rift in North American relations. Beyond a vacation rental platform, noted that Canadian searches for U.S. accommodations plummeted 44% after Trump announced a 25% tariff on Canadian and Mexican goods in February. Destinations like Florida, Texas, and New York have all been hit hard. Asia isn't immune either. Chinese travel to the U.S. is down nearly 1%, and experts say the trend is only going to deepen. Wolfgang Georg Arlt, CEO of the China Outbound Tourism Research Institute, warns that Chinese families are avoiding the U.S. not just because of policy, but because of tone. Disneyland, New York, Hawaii, once top-tier destinations, are seeing diminished Chinese interest. Arlt doesn't see this turning around while Trump is in office. Meanwhile, Japan, a long-standing source of American tourism, has seen its own shift. South Korea has overtaken the U.S. as the top destination for Japanese travelers, not solely due to politics, but also economic factors like the weak yen. Still, the perceived costliness of American travel now collides with a less tangible but more corrosive factor: alienation. Tourists like Haruka Adamiya still love the cultural allure of the U.S., but even loyal visitors are beginning to wonder whether it's worth the expense, hassle, and possible hostility. Her remark that she will continue to visit unless there's visible change is telling. It suggests that faith in the U.S. remains, but is rapidly fading. What's emerging isn't just a temporary dip in foreign arrivals, but a systemic decline in trust. And while tourism might seem like a soft issue in the grand scheme of global economics or geopolitics, it is often one of the first visible indicators that something is wrong. A country people no longer want to visit is a country that is, on some level, failing to make people feel safe, respected, or welcome. If the current trajectory holds, the U.S. risks isolating itself not just diplomatically or economically, but culturally and emotionally from the very global audience it once inspired. The world is watching. And more importantly, the world is walking away.